Morning. All right, another tough opportunity this week. Tough opponent with Florida State. Both teams kind of similar in a lot of ways, and we've had some tough hard-fought losses throughout our season. But all that goes out the window Saturday night. It's Clemson, Florida State. So huge game for both teams, and good football team. Obviously, a new defensive coordinator for them. They're doing some different things on that side of the ball. But, typical Florida State, bunch of guys that are big, strong, and can run. A lot of athletic, guys in the secondary, downhill guys at backer, big inside, especially at number 6. So, very multiple, similar to Duke that we just played, in that they're very aggressive and very downhill type of defense, but I'd say probably a little bit more multiple with their coverage and in and out of 3 and 4 down. And then offensively, they're the number 1 total offense in the country. So they're explosive. All starts with the quarterback scoring 40 points a game and 500-something yards a game. Gus does a great job. Obviously known Gus a long time and been against him many times. I've always had a lot of respect for how he puts it together. He's very committed to running the football. They're 8th in the country in rush offense. And anytime he's got a quarterback that's really committed to running the system, they're a problem. And, number 1 for them is a great football player. I think he's a great competitor. I thought that when he was at BC. I've just always admired his game. He's a very good thrower. I mean, he can push the ball down the field. But he's a creator. I mean, he can create explosives not only with his arm, but he can create explosives with his patience and sitting in there and holding the ball, but also with his ability to scramble and create. So they do a good job as far as the scheme and how they formation, a lot of motions, a lot of eye candy. There's going to be 7 or 8 shots. There's going to be 3 or 4 reverses. There's going to be a bunch of screens, and you kind of know what's coming, but it's hard to defend, because of how they formation it, how they put it together, and how he calls it. He's got a great feel for it. That's why he's been so successful for so long. A lot of double moves, and a bunch of special type plays, game specific plays that Gus has always done a good job with. So we got our hands full, and especially coming off the game we just played defensively, we have to play a lot better, especially when it comes to just having everybody on the same page. But we look forward to the challenge, and again, I always got good skill in the return game as well. So look forward to it this weekend. And then, just a couple other things I would touch on. One, say happy birthday to my stepdad, Larry. His birthday is today, and just very thankful for him. He's been a great grandfather to our kids. For the last, I don't know, my mom and Larry have been married about probably 27 years or so, and so he's been a blessing in my life, and really a blessing for my mom. It's been awesome. So his birthday's today, so happy birthday, Larry. And then my mom's birthday is tomorrow, and she is the toughest person I know. She's amazing, and she's 81 tomorrow. So happy birthday to my sweet mama. And then also tomorrow is a really, really special day for our foundation, and just got so many people to thank, PJ and Lexi and Tracy and Prince Wimley and Robin Wilson and April Zarsty, William Luce, Fred Gilmer, C.J. Spiller, Will Henderson, Lisa Bundrick, Rich Davies, Josie Bonamy, I think I said April, Lee Powell, Ava, Abby, and so many other volunteers that help us year-round. Tomorrow's a big day. We're going to give out $1.15 million tomorrow at lunch to, I think it's 296 organizations that applied for grants. I think there were a little over 400 that applied, and then especially just want to thank Kath. I mean, she just does such a great job, and this is really a passion for her And so it's a blessing, but all of these people and our volunteers and, we work all year. This is one of my favorite days every single year, to be able to go to this luncheon and to see so many people being served through the foundation. And literally 1.15 million will go into all these organizations just tomorrow at lunch. And that's just for the grant program. That's not, the other aspects of the foundation. So we're well, over 14 million that we've given away, and on our way to 15 and 26. So what a blessing that's been. And so tomorrow's a great day. Again, my mom's birthday, but also the foundation luncheon, and look forward to seeing everybody there tomorrow. With that, I'll take your questions.
What was Florida State kind of been struggling a little bit? What were they able to do last week against Florida State that, kind of allowed them to break through a little bit?
You mean against Wake? Yeah. They just executed at a high level and ran the ball, got the run game going. They're downhill. These backs are downhill. And again, they're 8th in the country in rushing, but they just did a great job of executing on both sides of the ball. Didn't give up some of the explosives. A couple of the explosives that Wake hit got called back. Could have affected them early, but they just got control of the game and really played a very clean game. Again, coming off an open date, you could tell they were in a good spot mentally and fresh. They again had a tough stretch. They lost 4 in a row and in some close games. I mean, games that were just a few plays. That it could have gone either way. So just played clean football.
How some of these defensive backs kind of reacted to the last few days and talking about the busts and what went wrong and kind of moving on from that?
Just, back to practice and everybody taking ownership, watching the tape. I mean, it's, you got to tell the truth. I mean, so I don't really care what we do as long as we got 11 guys that know what they're doing. I really don't. It's frustrating. I've been beat many times, but it's frustrating when you don't even give yourself a chance because you just don't execute the call for whatever reason. So we got to get 11 guys on the same page. I don't care if it's one call and everybody knows it. If they beat you, they beat you. But we need 11 guys on the same page. And so they've responded well. Everybody, we all know the problems internally and what we did wrong. And really it's frustrating because it's 2 games in a row. And we played good at North Carolina. We played good at Boston College from an execution standpoint. We had very few busts. And then all of a sudden we've had 2 games in a row. We've had some really big busts that create a lot of strain and a lot of frustration. So, again, it's one thing to give up some plays and people make plays. It's another thing where you got 8 guys doing what they're supposed to do. So that's a frustrating thing. Or 10. And and when you're on offense, you can punt. You can still punt. You can have a bunch of guys fall down and it's bad, but you can punt. On defense, it's a touchdown, and that's a problem. So, but you sign up, play defense. That comes with it. So we got to be better. No question about it.
Is this a week to maybe give some of the other backup safeties a look, or guys who maybe didn't play as much last few games, like a Billings or Webb or Griffin?
I think, again, Griffin played some last week. Venables played some last week. I think they played 5 safeties last week. So we just got to play better. I think, again, got the right guys. We just have had some untimely mistakes. It's not a lack of effort. We always say it's effort with the proper technique, which leads to the execution. And we just got to get those guys better. It's not just safety. Yeah. It's corner too. It's linebacker. It's D tackle. It's DN. It's every single position had some critical busts in the game.
What about a guy like Noah Dixon?
Yeah, Noah's getting better. I think Noah's got a chance. He's got a chance to be a good player around here. I think he's going to start on maybe a couple special teams this week. But Noah's a redshirt freshman. He missed a lot of time, but he is a guy that I think is still not fully confident in everything. But I do think he's a guy that's going to end up being a good player here.
you announced on your radio show Elyjah Thurman's out for the season.
Yeah.
Why did you guys want to shut him down this week?
Well, we didn't want to shut him down, but it's Mother Nature. He's got to have surgery. I mean, he just wasn't able to. They were hoping that maybe he could come back, but it keeps slipping out, and so he tried to go through the protocol to get him back to play, but he just can't. He can't do what he needs to do. So we didn't want to. It's just where we are. So the positive was one positive aspect of it is we will be able to save his year. So he'll be able to be a redshirt sophomore next year. So that's a positive aspect.
Shoulder?
Yeah.
You said the huddling Saturday was a response to teams maybe picking off your.
Yeah, I just felt like that was something that we've talked a lot about, and it just felt like, because we haven't really been playing with great tempo, and so I feel like we needed a little change in operation there. I do think there's some things we need to clean up there too, but I felt like again, with the ability of the headset and not having to have any signals at all, unless you're truly playing tempo. When you're really playing fast, it's hard for them to. They ain't got time to see your signal and get a signal in the game. But if you're not playing with fast tempo and you're signaling, well, you open yourself up for. That's just part of the game. It's just part of it. And again, if they know it's run or pass, they may not know exactly what, but that's an advantage. So just felt like huddling gave us a little something different, and not as much time to, again, process the formations and zero signals. So I felt like that allowed us to kind of get our cleats in the ground a little bit and, play a little cleaner.
What was the biggest impediment previously to not having the desired tempo? Was it just as simple as not getting an initial first down, or did it? Because then you want to get in the right play, and we just hadn't done much huddling, but really nothing more than that.
What you saw from Brayden Jacobs, is there a chance that he continues just to play guard, be the starting guard potentially going forward?
For sure. Absolutely. We ain't taking him out of there. He's one of the best five. There ain't no doubt about it. He's super proud of him. You talk about a kid that cares too, man. I love that about him. He really, really cares. That's a big grown man, full-blown tears when the game's over. It's tough locker room. That kid really cares. It's important to him, and he's going to be he's a good player now, but he's going to be a great one. Tackle, he can play wherever. I don't ever see him being a center, but he's, I think, an elite tackle or guard, wherever you need him to be. But he did a good job and hadn't played guard, so he's pretty much just a tackle. But for him to be able to go in there and operate. And Linthicum did a good job, and having Tristan and Linthicum, in between those two guys, two veteran guys, that certainly helps. They, have them all on the same page. But he did a heck of a job.
Tristan Smith in his first start on Saturday. Just what does he add to this passing attack? What did you see from him in an added role?
Yeah, just more opportunity. He's done a nice job. He's what is probably 4 or 5 games in a row now. He's probably 5 games in a row. He's been a factor for us and is just steady and just gets better. I'd like to be a little more decisive. There's a few times where we need to be a little bit more catch and run as opposed to catch, pause, and run. And I think he can. Maybe there's a little bit more there. And get the ball put away a little bit. There's some things there he needs to clean up, but he's a baller. He's just, and now his confidence has grown. He's a skyscraper. He can get up there and make some plays for us. So just proud of him. Great kid. Just a great kid. He's becoming he was a captain for us Saturday. He's becoming a good leader. So I'm proud of him.
How's Cade's ankle been since Saturday?
It's been good. Yeah, he really came out of the game in a good spot.
What have you kind of seen from him leadership-wise since that ankle injury coming back to the performance he had on Saturday?
Yeah, Cade's a warrior, man. That guy is unbelievably committed. and he'll be that way till the last play. I mean, he's just a guy. He did everything he could to play against SMU. I mean, literally, like round the clock. Treatment and hooked up to machines and everything he could to try to play in that game. But that's who he is. I mean, the kid cares. He loves to play. He's got no fear. And, he's got great respect from his teammates. And, when he makes mistakes or has a bad game, he'll come right back. He's just the same guy every single week when it comes to how he goes about his business. And he's really played well. I mean, I get at least probably three or four games in a row. I think he's played really, really good, really well for us.
After a game like Saturday, is there any one or two players that spoke to the team collectively in response to that?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll keep that in-house, though. I mean, these kids care. I mean, that's – somebody asked me that last night. What's one thing one thing that I wish people really knew about our team, other than the helmets and the numbers that they wear and the names on their jersey. Man, these guys care deeply, and it hurts because of that. So, yeah, we got a great group, a lot of good words, but we got to go find a way to win. That's where the fun is.
I know you mentioned speaking to some of the younger guys this week. What has your message been to them to just tell them the future is bright?
Yeah, same thing. I'll keep all that in-house. I mean, what we talk about, I mean, it's good opportunity. Again, there's opportunity in everything. I mean, this is a bad season, but it's not a bad tenure, if you will, or whatever. I mean, we've had a lot of great moments. And people sometimes get mad if we talk about anything good we've done around here. But if I don't talk about it, nobody else is. Nobody's going to talk about it. All everybody talks about is what's bad. Nobody wants to talk about 11 championships in 14 years. So if I don't talk about it, nobody else talks about it. So I think the biggest thing is perspective. Making sure kids have the right perspective, because all they get is inundated with garbage. And if you let garbage in, you get garbage out. So, opportunity to teach, lead, coach, again, create perspective, create vision. Those are all things that you do as a coach. So you got young players. Again, you got your second-year guys. They've come here. They've won. They've won a championship. They go in the playoffs, and now they've got a season like this. So it's like, okay, and then your conversation with your seniors is very different. They're all at different places. I was talking to T-Bone last night. He's won 3 championships since he's been here, and he's got a different perspective than TJ Moore, that comes in here and wins a championship and goes to the playoff and has a great game in the playoff game, and then all of a sudden now we come back and you're doing a lot of good stuff, but you ain't winning. It's frustrating. It's a team, and so and then you got or the freshmen that have just got here and this is their first season. So there's just a lot of different messages and different things that you talk about depending on the group that you're with. Whether you're Walker Parks or Venables, Tristan Lee, or you're Gid just showing up. So just opportunity to help lead and teach and learn and grow and keep moving.
You think you'll have a hard time this offseason as you make the rounds convincing your fan base that this season's just a one-off, that you'll be back in national
I
finals?
don't have any control over that. I mean, that's up to everybody to make up their own minds, all that. I mean, all I can say is, again, 11 championships in 14 years. So not 20 years ago, like the past 14 years, 11, and played for 3 more, 2 more national championships and another conference championship. So again, if people don't believe after all that because of one bad season, then I can't do anything about that. I mean, it just stinks. I'd be pissed. I am pissed, because I'm a fan too, but it's also it's what I do for a living. It's what I do. It's my calling, so I don't blame people for being mad. I'm mad too. I'm frustrated, but I'm going to fix it. But if people don't believe that, 15 years ago, we had a losing season. And, if I can just tell you, right, I know where I was 15 years ago. I was pretty miserable driving home from Charlotte. I was pretty frustrated. I had a lot of frustration, and I had no track record at that point. and honestly fortunate to get another year. I mean, if it wasn't Terry Don Phillips, I probably wouldn't have got another year. I was really fortunate to get another year. But I made some decisions that were critical and some that weren't very popular, but what I believed. And that's honestly probably something that I've probably not done. If I evaluate myself, I've probably gotten a little bit away from my instincts and not trusting some of my instincts. And that's one of my things I've got to get back to. And some people say I'm stubborn, but I think I have conviction. There's a difference. And so, I just think I look back on that, and I can just tell you, when I got home from Charlotte, and I was, I'm a young coach hanging on by a thread, and you just had a losing season, and you're not a popular hire anyway. I guarantee you, if people would have said I'd still be here in 2025, nobody would have believed it at that time. A lot of y'all wouldn't have believed it. You definitely wouldn't have believed it, but I'm still here. But I love you, man, and I know you love me deep down. It's a love-hate relationship, but you wouldn't have. But I'm still here. But my point is, if God had just come down in the den and sat there with me and Kath in that horrible moment of like, okay, tough decisions, tough conversations, challenge on some core beliefs. Am I going to stick to what I really believe in? And if I lose, I'm okay. And I've always said, I'd rather win doing what I believe is right than to lose knowing that I didn't. That's just what I've always believed. And, made some decisions. But if God had come in there and said, okay, here's what's going to happen. We're going to have 14 great years, 11 championships, play for 2 more national championships, but 15 years from now, year 2025, it's going to suck. Would you sign up for that? Are you kidding? I'd have said, sign me up. And so that's where we are, and I'm not immune. I don't know of a coach out there who's had any type of tenure who hasn't had a bad year somewhere along the way. And this is just this is not a period, it's a comma. It's a part of our story. 2010 is a part of our story. It was awful. We lost 5 to the Gamecocks. That's a part of our story. That was awful. But it's a part of our journey. It's a part of our story. But what's also a part of our story? National championships. Nobody wants to talk about it. And again, if I don't talk about it, nobody else going to talk about it. Everybody else is just going to say Swinney's crazy and they suck and it's a bad year and focus on all bad. But, somebody got to talk about it because we're not a part of the machine at Clemson. We ain't a part of the machine. We've always been an outlier. We've always been a disruptor. We always have been. And so that's a fact, too. We don't have people sitting around talking about, our league or our program 24/7 and all that stuff. We don't have that. But we won anyway, and we'll continue to win. So I guess my point is, if people don't believe after what they've seen, then that's fine. That's a decision everybody can make. But I know what I believe, and I know what we'll do. So I got no doubt. It's just part of the story. Just like 2010, as I said last night, everything bad in my life, something great came from it. And I've had a lot of bad things, and I would say probably you've had some bad things in your life that as a person with, graying hair, right? Like you've had some wisdom. You've probably had some bad things in your life that good things have come from it. Would that be an accurate statement? Yeah, and me too. And so this is a bad thing professionally, but something great will come from it. It'll be great. There'll be a lot of great things come from it. And again, I just personally, I can look back on many things in my life that were bad. Man, I got fired in 2000. I had my dream job at Alabama. That was my dream job. I'd probably still be there. I'd have probably never left. I'm coaching wideouts at Alabama. That's all. Man, I'm 30. I'm living my dream, and we get fired. But you know what came from that? I was miserable. 18 months, I couldn't get a job doing what I love to do, but it made me a better coach, gave me a different perspective, taught me that I could be successful doing something else, which gave me a ton of confidence as a coach, because I think a lot of coaches compromise because they're fearful they can't be successful doing anything else. I got back into coaching with a ton of confidence because I learned I could be very successful doing something else. But I gave that up because I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I was called to do. But getting fired at Alabama brought me to Clemson. It's been this amazing blessing. It's been this amazing blessing. 5-4 and about to be fired in 2003, my first year. Something great came from that, right? We had a great little finish and a great run. And 2008, we get fired. That was a miserable day. But something great came from it. I got a chance to become the head coach at Clemson. So, I said this to the team. I mean, my wife and I, we had 2 miscarriages. We lost a child at 14 weeks and one at 10 weeks. Newlyweds, you're trying to get, hadn't been married long, and we're trying to have kids, and it's a devastating thing, and a lot of people have been through that. But when the Lord blessed us with, our Will and then Drew and Clay, I really believe part of what came from that is we had a deeper appreciation for the miracle of childbirth, the miracle of being a parent, and I think we were better parents because of it. So it was a horrible thing. Something great came from it. And I just, that's my perspective. And I mean, I didn't get the scholarship that I wanted my senior year in high school, living in a, 1-bathroom government subsidized apartment with my grandmother. And I didn't get the scholarship I wanted. But because I didn't get the scholarship I wanted, I learned what a Pell Grant was. I learned what a student loan was. And that allowed me to go to Alabama and chase my dream. And when, Coach Curry left and Coach Bowden left, and I'm back at the bottom, and I'm miserable, and I almost left because I'm frustrated, and it was not what I wanted in life, and it was bad. Man, here comes Gene Stallings and Woody McCorvey, 2 of the greatest mentors in my life. What was really bad in the moment for me turned out to be one of the greatest things that ever happened to me in my life, because I 2 great leaders in my life, 2 mentors, 2 father figures. And all of a sudden now I'm getting a scholarship, and I'm playing, and then I'm a coach, and they led me into coaching, and then again we get fired in 2000. That brought me to Clemson. So again, that's my perspective. So that's, I have peace no matter what. I'm not always happy. I'm not real happy, right now, because I take a lot of pride in Clemson. I take a lot of pride in what we do, and I haven't gotten it done. It's my fault. It's nobody's fault but mine. I hadn't got it done. But over 17 years, I think I've done a decent job. But I've sucked this year, and I'll be better. And something good will come from it. I always say God never says oops. God never says my bad, like we do all the time. But so that's my perspective, and something great will come from this. One way or another. I don't really know, but something great will come from it. So I don't really have much that I can say, and there ain't really a lot to say other than, hey, we just got to go back to work. I ain't going to hear me say a lot. There really ain't nothing to say. We got to go do it. And we'll have the opportunity to do that. But right now, in the immediate, we got to fight our butts off for these seniors, for Clemson. Like, we got to fight our tails off to try to find a way to win a game. I don't care what records are. This is Clemson, Florida State. And, so we need to have the best finish that we possibly can have and have some freaking pride and go battle and compete. And then, again, you make the corrections, whatever you need to do to get better, and you start over like we do every year, and you go again. And 15 years ago, we started over and went again, and we had a great 14-year run. And that run came to an end this year. But, again, it's a comma. It ain't a period. I know a lot of people want it to be an exclamation point, but they ain't God. So it's just part of God's plan. We'll keep moving.
When you say you feel like you've gotten away from your instincts, what do you mean by that?
I'm not going to get into that. I just think one of my greatest strengths is my instincts, honestly. I think that's just from a self-awareness standpoint, that's one of my greatest strengths. I think one of the reasons that we've been successful here is, I've always just leaned on that. And I think sometimes, you can listen to too much, listen to too many people, and you can get away from what you're truly convicted with. And so, I got to be better in that area.
And when you talk about like a challenging of core beliefs after 2010, do you feel like that's something that needs to happen this offseason?
No. We're in a completely different world than we were then. No, it's a lot easier to fix it now than it was then. A lot easier. So that's one positive. We're in a little different spot than we were then.
You talked about perspective and kind of seeking out the good. What did you learn from yourself, on and off the field throughout the course of the last couple of months?
Just to again, stay connected to the things that matter. My fundamentals of life of just keep my eyes on the Lord, no matter what, good or bad, to believe and don't quit. That's just the fundamentals of life for me. And and that's where things are going, if they're going great or they're going bad. And, so sometimes there's just certain things you don't control. Sometimes you can do your best and it just ain't good enough, and this is a tough profession that we signed up for. It's a tough profession. And again, sometimes there's just things out of your control, whether it's a call or a turnover or somebody else makes a great play or, whatever, and, momentum and different things. So just stay the course. Just stay the course. Stay, again, committed to the things that you believe in. That's the main thing. Don't flinch.
I guess you talk about that you have a sense you have to get back to your instincts. So you've done a lot of reflection in terms of what you have to change going forward? Or?
Yeah, but not a lot of reflection. Just my focus right now is what we got to do to beat Florida State. But there's anytime you come out of a game, you reflect. That's just what you do. You spend every moment post game trying to reflect on what you got to do better. What went wrong. On and on and on, and then you reset. So. Yeah, I'm not wasting much time looking to next year. I'm focused on Tuesday practice today. That's what I'm locked in on right now.
With it being the Hall of Fame game and DeAndre Hopkins getting inducted, what made him so special, especially being the local guy, and what's it like for you to see him get inducted this weekend?
I'm super proud of him. He's still going. He's still playing. Just one of those guys. In fact, he was on that 2010 team. In fact, he was. I think he was our leading receiver as a freshman. He wasn't great. He was a big old skinny kid that just running around out there, and we just threw it to him. And he just somehow had one guy on him, he was wide open, and if he had two guys on him, he was still open. Just throw it to Nuke. And somehow, some way, he'd find a way to make a play. But his development was amazing. It really was. He was a basketball player playing football, and he played both sides of the ball. He was a great safety and just this amazing athlete. But what I loved about Nuke, relentless competitor and relentless belief in himself. That's what I loved about him. And he was a guy we honestly almost didn't go on. And it's a reminder, again, instincts. One of those things, instincts. And some of the instincts is recruiting and some of the things, because, again, it's, we were a little different deal back in 10 and to where we are. But we made some decisions on some guys that we went and beat the best of the best with. We beat the best. That's one thing can't nobody ever take away. We beat the best of the best at their best. It was with recruiting classes of 13, 14, 15, all right? And some of those decisions were instincts, like Grady Jarrett. Instincts. Tig Willard. There were some of those. We had some linemen that maybe didn't necessarily play in the NFL, but they blocked and beat them NFL D linemen. So some instincts type stuff. But Nuke's one of those guys. Because there's a lot of people probably missed on Nuke because he played basketball year round. This guy played Friday night and then go play basketball on Saturday, Sunday. He just was a basketball kid, and he was not a very developed guy. And it's not like he lined up and learned how to run 40s and knew how to, all this overdevelopment that you see in today's world. And I think he went to some combine somewhere and somebody told him, hey, you better go do one of these combine things. And I think he ran a 4.7 or something, and a lot of people were scared probably to recruit him. And we were kind of like, because you get all this stuff and you start, and then he came over here to camp. And I'm like, I don't care what he runs. It don't matter what he runs. Just throw it to him. And I mean, it's amazing. And so his competitiveness and his relentless belief in himself has been amazing. And then he got better. And then, I think he was, I don't know, maybe 170-something pounds when he came in here, and he left here about 210, first-round draft pick. And he played basketball for a year and a half. And, I mean, finally I'm like, Newt, you're like the seventh guy. You're the number one guy over here. So let's take 1 year and at least get in the weight room here. And he did. And he's one of the most dominant players I've ever been around. And again, he doesn't overwhelm you with his gonna run away, but he runs fast. He got faster. He got stronger. He got technically developed and all that stuff, and just became a superstar. And I mean, he'll be my first NFL Hall of Famer. I can't imagine he don't get in the NFL Hall of Fame one day. But I mean, I'm really proud of him, and so pretty cool to see him going there.
Catches for 1,000 in his career.
There you go. How many of them? There's probably not many of them that exist. It's a lot of catches.
He'll be the 17th.
There you go. How long's the NFL been around? A long time.
Think about playing him on defense.
Yep. We thought about it. Yeah.
To senior high
Oh,
school.
yeah. Yeah, and a returner. I mean, he did a little bit of everything. I mean, oh, yeah. I mean, I had front row seat. That's one of the reasons we took him. I mean, I knew a lot about him, being in the area. So it's it ain't the last Hall of Fame he's going to be in. Wherever he played, he should be in the Hall of Fame somewhere. I mean, he's a great one. Proud of him. Got a great relationship with him. I mean, he's done really well too. I mean, he's a business guy. He's got a lot of things going on outside of football. He's really used the game of football. He really has. He's not a guy that's allowed football to use him. And he's working on his degree. I mean, he's doing a lot of things.
I gotta ask about Tim too. He sat next to you when you got that orange jacket to be head coach. To see him in this position.
Well, he survived me. So yeah, I mean, Tim Bourret is. I still think of Tim as here. I mean, because I get to see him all the time. But I mean, Tim, I wouldn't have made it without Tim. I mean, I really wouldn't. Him and Beth Douglas, I wouldn't, and Andy Johnston, I wouldn't have made it. Andy Johnston, Beth Douglas, Tim Bourret, Ren Wyndham, Jill Wilkes, I wouldn't have made it without them. I'd have never made it, because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I knew how to coach, but I didn't know anything about housing or the media and all that stuff and all the behind the scenes routine stuff that I had to do. And Tim even to this day, Tim is such a great mentor for me, such a great voice of calmness. We've had some great moments. One of my favorite moments was celebrating the national championship with Tim, beating Notre Dame in 15, like a game that just lasted for 100 years. It was like 100 years to happen, right? And then it was a 16-day layoff, and it had been planned forever, and it's like, and to live that moment with Tim, but then certainly the national championships, that first one was pretty cool. And then he kind of supposedly retired after that. But he's been a blessing to me. We've had a lot of tough moments in some locker rooms and some great moments, but he's always just such good counsel, such wisdom. And he's always let me be me, and I think he learned me early and could help navigate me being me. So I've just always had a great appreciation for Tim. I mean, he's a friend. Finally got married. I finally talked him into that. So just, Tim Bourret ought to be on the stadium. I mean, for sure. He's as good as it gets, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way in this room. He's a pro's pro, in every sense of the word, and tells the truth, and he's tough and he's firm when he needs to be, but he's one of the smartest people I've ever been around. I mean, he's Clemson Google for a reason. I know half the stuff I know because he tells me. I don't do any research. He always makes me feel better. He'll say, "Yeah, but did you know?" I'll be like, "Oh, we did that? Well, I thought we sucked." Okay, good. So he's the best. He's the best. Love you, Tim, man. I'm proud of you, man. Just so deserving. It's really cool. Is that this Friday? Is that this week? I know we did the thing a while back, but I've been out of the loop. So that's this week.
On your radio show, you said Coach Deion Sanders reached out to you. What was the conversation about, if you can share, and how...
Misery loves company. We just cried on each other's shoulder. He's kind of become a friend, got a chance to talk to him. He reached out to me this summer, I think, and just had never really connected. He's always been a hero of mine, but I've always liked him. I really have. Always have liked him. I've only met him one time in person when he was working with ESPN, but we just kind of connected this summer, had a lot to talk about, had a great conversation, and then he just reached out yesterday just to kind of chit chat, and again, you don't have a lot of peers in this business, but we're both kind of going through a challenging season. Ironically, we're playing Florida State. He did not wish me well, but anyway, just talked about hopefully nobody calls their shot like he did, but yeah, just professional conversation.
I don't think you've ever fired an assistant coach during a season, have you? When you've made changes, it's always been after?
Well, when I became interim.
But besides that?
Yeah, no, I haven't. And I just, I'm sorry.
Is that a philosophy of yours? You don't want to make staff changes during a season? You always want to wait? If you're going to make changes, you always wait till after a season?
I believe in that. Again, that's one of the things I believe in. I know listen, we've... it's funny because Manny actually brought it up to me the other day. We were just talking, and beat Coach Diaz, and he goes, he said, you probably don't remember this, but I've never forgotten it. He said, he was the head coach at Miami, and he said, we were in one of our meetings where we waste so much time, but we were in one of those meetings, and it was like talking about this expansion of a playoff down the road. This is when there was 4, and we went to 6 Final Fours. That may never be done again, but we did it, and they were talking about the playoffs and all this stuff, and a lot of people were mad because some of the same teams were getting there, and whatever, and we got to open it up. And I just had the message of, listen, if we can get there with 4, we can get there with 12 or 20 or whatever. And we've been whatever format there's ever been, we've been there. We've had a seat, and so that Clemson has. When they voted you in the '80s, we did it, against all odds. When it was a BCS, we didn't get to the national championship, but we got to the BCS. When it was Final Four, we've done that many times. Went to 12. We've done that. First year, we've done it. We ain't gonna make it this year, but my message to the coaches were, well, I'm just gonna say this to you guys: if whatever y'all want to do, but I'm just telling you, the more we expand this playoff, the more coaches are gonna get fired. And Manny reminded me of that the other day. He said, and I said, yeah. He goes, do you remember? I said, yeah, I remember that. And here we are. And because we've created this system that's not sustainable, and we've just lost our way. Oh, God, here goes Swinney's getting on his soapbox again. It'll be y'all write 1,000,000 articles and clickbaits and all this. But we've lost our way. It's not we've created an NFL model, but the NFL is 32 teams and 16 spots. So it's the NFL is designed to be 8-8 or 9-8. That's the design of the league. And half the league is getting in the playoffs. So all year long, you have a chance for the playoffs. Even if you have a losing record, you could win in your division and you go to the playoffs, right? And that's what's driven that. But we got 136 teams for 12 spots. And so now we've made it all about the playoffs, and so people are losing their jobs. And you got people, even like for us this year, all of a sudden you're out of the playoffs early, so now it's not about your season anymore. For forever and ever and ever, what made college football special was it's about your season. It's about the pageantry of your program. It was about the relationships. It was about getting to a postseason. It was about your rival games, and now it's just all about the playoffs. And that's fine. I mean, if that's what it's going to be, that's fine. But the system is set up like people are going to get fired. And like, how many coaches have won championships in college football? Everybody acts like it's just so easy to do. And like it's just anybody can do it. There's some of the best coaches that ever coached this game didn't win a championship, didn't win their league, didn't win a national championship. And now it's harder than it's ever been. But to when you got 136 teams for 12 spots, so it's not feasible. So maybe we need a 48 team. I mean, it's never going back. So I mean, maybe it's a 48 team league with 24 spots, and then maybe you have a different league or you have relegate. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know. But I said that. Manny reminded me of that because I was like, well, a lot of coaches are going to get fired. Because now it's all of a sudden about the playoff, and it ain't going to work. And winning is hard. We're being reminded of that this year at Clemson. And hopefully when we do win again, the way I know we are going to win, we'll have a different perspective. Kind of like when I got out of coaching for 18 months, I had a different perspective when I went back to coaching. And when we get this program back where it needs to be, we'll probably have a little different perspective. Because sometimes you can win so much, you lose appreciation for how hard it is. It's freaking hard, especially to win national championships. We've won 3 in 130 years, but we've won 2 in the last 9. And can't nobody take that away from us. And who else has done that? Who else? But people are getting fired because they hadn't done it. So I guess that's a long answer to your question, but I don't like firing coaches in the season. I don't like now. If you got a bad person, that's a different deal. Or you got some type of dynamic where, like, we can't be in the room together, like something like that. But we got great people here, great people, good men. There's no bad people here, and so hey, we go play the games. Let's go. We were all fired in 2003, for sure. Because we got 9-0 Florida State rolling up in here, and we just lost 45-17 to Wake, and I think they just beat Notre Dame 35-0. There you go. Clemson Google. All right, so no way this bad 5-4 lost to Wake 45-17. No way they're going to go beat undefeated 9-0 rolling Florida State. But old Charlie Whitehurst and the boys had something different for them, and we won 27-10, right? So you play it. That's why you play the season. And again, we were a mess, but we got to the Peach Bowl. That's one of the coolest moments I've ever been, running that freaking trap draw to Chad Jasmine on like 3rd and 15 to score. And that's what college football used to be about: postseason and development and relationships and the pageantry. But again, not that that's still not there, but coaches are getting fired at an alarming rate because it's all about the playoff, and you have 136 teams for 12 spots. So something's got to give somewhere along the way. Because if you fire your coach every year because they don't get to the playoff or they don't win a national championship, you're going to have a hard time having a program. And we're fortunate here because I've been here a long time. And we have a program, we have a culture. We don't have cracks in our foundation here. Like this house right here is built on rock. There's no cracks in the foundation. Now, we got some people that ain't put their best stuff in it. Like, we gotta be better. I gotta make sure we get the right people in the house, in all aspects of it. But this thing's built right. It's built to last. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't mean we're immune to a bad year. I mean, they were going to fire Coach Bryant in 1969, 1970. They were ready to run him out of town. 2 losing seasons in the SEC, and 6-5, 6-5. I mean, every great coach can have a bad year. But yeah, the playoff has changed a lot, and just what's at stake. And that's why I was so frustrated with the refs, a little salty, because there's a lot at stake, and there's not consequences. In this coaches get crucified, fined, players get crucified, held to this unrealistic accountability standard, but refs have zero accountability. Well, they do, but it's behind a curtain. They get to go home and drink a beer and get on with their life and just leave the carnage left behind that affects a lot of people losing jobs. And that system needs to change too. That system needs to change. There should be, first of all, these refs should with what's at stake now and what's going on, like the NFL, they're not part-time refs. Like they need to be full-time refs, and it needs to be a job. And there needs to be one leader and one voice, and that's what it should be, number one. And then there should be public accountability, period. Like you can't criticize them, but they're on the field, they're in the arena, but they're the only ones in the arena that have no consequences publicly. Or God forbid, you get to pay a fine because you criticize performance. But yet everybody else can be criticized. It's a bad system the way it's set up. And there needs to be some change. There needs to be the ability to review egregious calls in certain situations. Because it means too much. People are losing jobs, whether it's assistants or head coaches or players, and how they get crucified on social media and things like that. Like, it's impactful. So, as opposed to just getting a report on Monday, you turn in 10. Yeah, we had a game. I'm not criticizing. I ain't gonna tell you the game. I'm not gonna say the game, but we're only allowed to turn in. There's a system of accountability, but y'all don't know anything about it. It's behind a curtain. How dare we have accountability? In the meantime, we got gambling issues going on, people being suspended, all that kind of stuff, right? Yep. I mean, refs are people too. It ain't just coaches and players, and if they're a part of the game, then by God, they ought to be a part of the game. And they ought to be a part of the accountability, and they ought to be a part of the consequences, not just behind some shadowy curtain. Like, no, they ought to have to answer for it. And listen, there's judgment calls and all that, and I mean, we just have to disagree to disagree. But there's also absolute flat-out misses with no consequences. And, and you get a shoot, we're allowed to turn in 10 calls. All right, and so we had a game earlier this year that we lost. I had 14 I wanted to turn in, but I only turned in 10. All right? I thought 8 were wrong, but got back. Yep, missed it. 5 of the 10 were wrong. And I mean, these are game-changing calls. Obvious pass interference, not called. That takes you off the field. But we just get this will be addressed with the crew and yada, yada, yada. Okay? Yeah, but there's no public accountability. Ain't none of that. So that's the system. The system needs to change. It needs to be changed. There needs to be challenge opportunity, and we need full-time officials. If you're going to have this type of stakes, it needs to be full-time officials. And everybody should have consequences. And the coaches and the players shouldn't be the only ones that publicly have accountability. That should change too with this system that we're in.
Take one more for Coach.
Ari Watford got ticketed over the weekend. Any comment on that?
No, just aware of it, and we'll deal with that.
The call on Saturday, should it have been half the distance to the goal, or was it 15 yards?
Which call?
The PI at the end of the game.
Which one? the one that we got called on us? The OPI? Well, how about the OPI on us? That one?
No.
Oh, not that one? Okay.
The defense.
I'm just rolling up my fine. I'm going to send pennies. I'm going to mail them in pennies. I don't really have anything else to say about it. I can't speak on it. I got no right to.
If it goes fine, is that you or the school?
I'm sure they'll just take it out of my check, but I think I'm just gonna get some pennies and just mail them in a box. That's what I'm gonna do.
Thank you, Coach.
23 years. All right. Y'all have a great day.